Hey guys, welcome back to Black, White, and the Grays. My name is Kylie Gray, and you're gonna hear my crazy cow in the background because she thinks she's hungry. And she's been fed lots, and she looks obese. So she's not getting fed anymore, but you might have to hear her because she knows I'm out here. I'm going to make this video, and I just want to, this is mainly for myself. So when I next year plant a crap ton of tomatoes and regret my life decisions, for not trellising, I want to come back to this video to remember why I don't trellis. We got some really hard freezes, obviously. A lot of the garden squashes are basically done for. Lots of things are done for, but my tomatoes are not, even though they got nipped on the top, which I should have had frost cover on it the first day, which is when they got all that damage. It would have saved them looking so ugly. All in all, I want to show you even stuff, little Mando's behind me, even stuff that's not covered with frost cover is still fine and dandy. So I want you to go down here and look it in there. Nice and green. Yeah, you can see a bit damaged, but the fruit is fine. Oh, I'm gonna pull this one's starting to blush. Mando, I pulled back the frost cover and I've just been picking fruit that is blushing because it's been ripening on my counter just fine. And I like salsa verde. I just don't like a crap ton. And when I have a crap ton of tomatoes that are green, I don't really need that much salsa verde. So I'm trying to get as much out of it. Now, we are gonna be warming up at night a little bit. We shouldn't be getting that cold anymore. Well, I mean, for the next week, but who knows? But if it survived this, I'm pretty confident it's getting warm in the day, and especially in this high tunnel. If it's high of 70 something or upper 60s, it's getting pretty hot in here. Definitely in the 90s, which is perfect for ripening my tomatoes. But this is just an absolute reminder of why I'm not trellising my tomatoes. Maybe I don't need to grow as many next year, and that will help. But even the frost cover, man, you did a good job, frost cover. It's just absolutely loaded in here. So these guys, they're not quite ripe, but ripe enough. I'm just grabbing, I have a whole tray over there. I'm just taking my frost cover off, going through and just harvesting everything I can. Whatever I see, at least. Like, it's a little difficult to see in here because it's so thick. Oh my gosh, I see a million cucumbers. And the fruit's not damaged because they're on the ground. Anything that was up high, like my back wall, toast. Anything down low on the ground, my tomatoes, my cucumbers, it's been fine. Just see a giant one, right? Oh my gosh. This one got missed. We've had a heck of a cucumber year. It's been great. And what I've been finding is these big ones, I did feed some to my chickens at first, but then I started opening them up and just tasting them before I fed the chickens, and they were very good. And so I've been making a ton of fridge pickles out of them, and we've been going through those like crazy. Even at this size, even when it's yellow, it should still be fairly good. Got down to 21 last night, and this high tunnel is just, we don't heat it. I really want to see, I could heat it. My parents have a big old diesel heater that is made for high tunnels, and they offered it to me because they don't have anything in their high tunnel, their big high tunnel, that they needed heated. And I said no, because I just want to see what this can do. I don't want to get reliant on a crutch of a tomato or of a heater to see how far I can do it. I want to see how I can do it in the best methods to do it with. So if I don't trellis my tomatoes, can I get into October with my tomatoes? That's what I got last year. We're going to see if it's a fluke. Next week is October, and the first day of fall is tomorrow. So on my app, my local weather app, yesterday was a chance of rain and snow, and it has another date for next week, the same thing, but we didn't get any snow. The mountains looked like they got a smidge, but we didn't get any at all. So I'm going to start ripping out my high tunnel, actually. Well, not out my high tunnel, but this whole row of green beans, I'm going to rip it out. You can see where it's yellow. And I have my fall crops that I need to get in here. I grew my own, and I had a ton of cabbages and broccoli and I think that was it. And I have some onions that I was going to plant in here. And the grasshoppers completely mangled all of my cabbages and all of my broccoli in my little greenhouse. That is a massive piss off. I'm going to let my chickens in there this fall Oh, dropped my giant cucumber. And just have at all of the grasshoppers in there. Fortunately, Wilco and Bend, a little farm co-op that we have locally here in the Pacific Northwest, was having 50% off fall starts. So I got a crap ton of fall starts for less than $20. And we're going to just, I think I'm going to do a row, this row right here down the middle of the high tunnel and just see. This is a complete experiment. These are pretty good starts. They're probably like a foot tall, most of them. And it's a mix of cabbages and kohlrabi and broccoli and cauliflower. I think I have kale and lettuces. We'll see what we can get going and see how much this gives us an extension. Obviously, this gave me my potatoes that were outside, which potatoes are frost tolerant in a sense, but not frost hardy. They can handle a light freeze, not a hard frost, which that happened mid-August. My potatoes were completely gone outside. My potatoes in here, I think, are fine still. And this just now bit the big one. So technically this gave me a month and a half of season extension, which is great for frost tender things. But now I'm curious to see how much of a season extension it's going to give me for winter crops. Last year I was so burnt out, I didn't even try to grow fall crops through the winter in here. I could even get creative and get some frost cover over those crops with inside this and see how that goes. Frost cover over frost, like they can handle a lot of freezes, the cold tolerant stuff. Frost hardy things like brassicas, all the brassicas, the lettuce and stuff, they can handle a lot of freezes and frost on them. But when it gets into like our really cold, sometimes Decembers and Januaries and Februaries, I just don't know if it's possible. We're going to give it a whirl. We're going to give it a whirl. And I'm getting a head start with my own. I had my own starts. I still have my onions. I could direct sow. I was thinking about direct sowing some other quick lettuces and maybe some short carrots or green onions. I have bulbing onions, which I think will just bulb up for next year and see how that goes. Like if I plant them in the fall as starts in my high tunnel, will they be mature big bulbs or really early next year? That is the experiment. We're going to just do a lot of experimenting in here. But as far as my future self, I will be trellising my tomatoes, or not trellising my tomatoes again next year. I know I said I got to trellis them. I got to get more organized. It's bothering me. I do need to get more organized, but the proof is in the pudding. If I'm still harvesting tomatoes and all of the tops are dead, but the bottoms aren't, that are touching the ground, it just, guys, it just doesn't matter how ugly it is, because the food is what's important, not the aesthetics. And if I live in a harsh climate and this is what I got to do to get the food I have, or the food I want to grow and put up for my family, then who really cares? If that's the goal is to learn how to grow in this really harsh climate and to really season extend in this really harsh climate. I'm learning so much of growing in greenhouses that, yeah, I don't know what else to say besides I'm not trellising next year, and the proof is in the tomatoes. Hello. So this damage all happened 2 or 3 days ago, and then 2 nights this has had frost cover on it, and obviously you can tell that's some really nice greenery down there and some fruit. It's not quite ripe on this one. These are starting to get ripe right here, down in there, but not quite. Just keeping the frost cover on because you just don't know. That one's starting to blush. So without trellising them, they get a little dirt on them. They get grubby. Sometimes they're more prone to splitting. But am I getting a ton of fruit? Yeah. So the split ones I've been giving to my chickens and pigs. They've been really enjoying those. So there you have it. I'm going to go through and see what other tomatoes I can get. And I'll show you my untrellised kind of ugly tomatoes, but they're very productive and still putting on fruit when the rest of the high tunnel is going kaput. Yeah. I think I see a zook. Still good. Okay. This one I might have to save for seed. They keep getting bigger. I keep finding more and more. Oh, funny. They are definitely filthy. But I'm getting tomatoes. They're all blushing. Anything that I picked tonight is all blushing. There isn't one that isn't. This one's the greenest one, I think, and it is. But these will be ripe in a few days, and they will be perfect. Ooh, this one's ready to go right now. So if you live in a short season, cold climate, guys, you might not be the most beautiful thing, but it's definitely a really effective thing to do, is to not trellis. I'm thankful for this reminder, and I'm thankful for this tomato harvest, even after the high tunnel looks like that. But I'm still bringing in a ton of fruit. A lot of heirlooms too. I grew a ton of heirlooms this year and hybrids, and my heirlooms are actually producing a lot. So that's also encouraging. So thank you guys so much for following along with me. It is just a massive learning curve for this greenhouse, and I hope I locked ping pong in the high tunnel. Oh, he got out. And sometimes I have to remind myself. So now there's like definitely some lessons I can learn. Definitely have a spot for my cucumbers. So I'm not searching through my tomatoes for my cucumbers, and I'm not ending up with gargantuans like this guy. But I guess he's not going to waste. I'm going to save him. He probably doesn't taste bad either. But I'm going to save that seed because he did really well. So maybe have a certain zone for my cucumbers, certain zone for my squash, and not mix it in and make it look what I thought was going to be really pretty. Instead, I might need to be a little more totalitarian in that high tunnel just so it is more productive, because I'm missing out on a lot of fruit. And my tomatoes are starting to split when they're ripe, which is also another reason why I am harvesting them when they're blushing, because they're splitting. Can't have that. And splitting is from inconsistent watering. I'm watering at the exact same time of day for the exact same amount, but I'm wondering, because we get so hot in the day, if it's getting super hot in the day and then we're getting super cold and then I'm watering, and that's just too much inconsistency, and there's really not much I could do about that. So I'm just going to pick them sooner or when they're blushing to keep them from splitting. And there's that. So many lessons to be learned. I'm writing them all down in my notebook as we go. Just learning a lot of lessons. Let me know what lessons you guys have learned down in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe and be sure to like this video. It helps us grow. Thank you guys, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye guys.